Now today I want to talk about the 3 common financial mistakes that I've seen a lot of young clients make, which had cost them a fortune and how you can avoid it, right? Now the first mistake that I've seen a lot of young adults make is that they don't plan ahead, right? This group of people tend to live in the moment with little regrets for their future, largely because they don't have any intentions to settle down anytime soon and they can't see a need to plan for now, right? As a result, they tend to spend what they have at the moment and start saving when the certain needs arise, which oftentimes is too late, right? I mean, think about it. The cost of settling down in Singapore is about give and take $100,000 to $140,000, which includes the cost of like your marriage, your down payment, as well as your renovation. Now, when things happen, especially in this day and age, it happens very fast. When you need such a large amount of money and you don't have it, the only thing that you can do is to borrow, right? And that will cost you even more money in the form of interest. So there are only 2 types of people in this world, right? Those who save and earn interest, or those who borrow and pay interest. Don't pick the wrong side. So what should you do? You should just plan ahead, right? Even if you're single now, and even if you can't see yourself settling down anytime soon, you'll still be way better off if you plan and prepare based on reasonable assumptions. Okay? If you do that, the worst that could happen to you is if things that you plan for don't materialize, which is fine, right? Because you still have that sum of money that's already prepared, as opposed to you scrambling for money and being at the mercy of banks to loan you the money when you need it, right? The second mistake that I've seen a lot of young adults make is that they invest when they are young, but not when they are ready, right? How often have we heard about people preaching the idea of starting young and investing early, right? While it sounds good on paper and it makes sense theoretically, in reality, starting young and investing early is not something that everyone can afford to do so, right? The reason why you should start investing only when you are ready, meaning to say that you have set aside the sufficient savings for your short-term cash flow needs and not when you are young, is because if you invest too early, what are you going to do if you suddenly need that money that was invested for things like your down payment or renovation? You will be in a position where you are forced to sell your investments, which may or may not be the optimal time to do so, depending on your luck, right? Imagine being forced to sell off your investment at this period. You're pretty much screwed, right? Worst case scenario, you may be forced to sell your investments at a loss and not having enough cash to pay for the things that you need to pay for. In addition to that, by selling off your investments at a bad timing, you're also missing out on the eventual recovery and potential gains that you may have made. Right? So what should you do in this area? Similar to my first point, you should plan and set aside sufficient budget in cash for non-negotiable things like your property or marriage. Only then are you ready to consider long-term investments, as you will not be forced by your short-term circumstances to make decisions that may be detrimental for your long-term performances. So plan and invest when you're ready and not when you are young or early, like what the 90% of the people on the internet is preaching. Okay? The third mistake that I've seen a lot of young adults make is that they screw up their insurance planning, right? And there are 2 ways that this could happen. The first is applying for a coverage that is lower than what they need. And the second is buying from a company that is simply just not competitive and they end up paying too much for a benefit that is of similar level. Let me elaborate. When you insure yourself with a coverage that is lower than what you need, what's going to happen is that when you need that money, the coverage is not going to be enough, right? And you end up having to deplete your own savings to pay for your lifestyle when your paycheck stops. What could also happen is that you will top up more coverage later in the future, which is going to cost you way more than what you could have gotten if you do it correctly in the first place, for 2 reasons. Number one, you'll be older when you purchase more coverage. That's of course a given, right? Number two, you are not reaping the benefits of economics of scale, aka the discount that you're getting when you buy in bulk, right? Moving on to the second way you can screw up your insurances. When you purchase an insurance from a company that's not competitive, what's going to happen is that you may be paying more money than what you originally needed to pay if you had gone for a more competitive company. So let me give you an example. Here we have two term insurance with identical sum assured, going at drastically different prices. Now, while price isn't everything, it is still important that we pay attention to the differences both in the areas of price and benefits. Or we may end up paying more for something that is of a lower benefit, right? For the above case, we are looking at a difference of about $412 a year, which adds up to be over $18,000, right, over the 44 years. Now, that's a huge sum of money that you're washing down the drain when you don't do your own homework, right? Once again, what can you do? My answer is and always will be the same. Plan properly. When it comes to applying for insurance coverage, have an understanding of what you need today and in the future, right? That way you can better optimize the amount that you need to be insuring today to avoid unnecessary top-up in the future. You should also compare your insurance and make sure that you are getting the most suitable product at the best possible price. Now, all this planning and comparing takes time, and it takes a lot of time to do your own research and understand the market landscape, and I would suggest you to engage an independent financial advisor to help you speed up the process, right? That's all I have for the video today, and if you'd like to find out more about how you can benefit by engaging an independent financial advisor and a certified financial planner, you can reach out to me via my website. Do connect with me on the following social media platform as well to stay updated with future content, and you can always slide into my DMs anytime when you have any questions. I'll be happy to help. So that's all, and I hope to connect with you all soon.